In the early 1960s, the Philadelphia Phillies were one of the most disappointing teams in baseball. In 80 seasons, the team had never won a World Series. But in the spring of 1964, manager Gene Mauch had reason to be optimistic.
Gene, the 1964 Phillies, a serious contender for the flag.
Well, they've shown that they can win.
His team featured an explosive lineup, led by fan-favorite slugger Johnny Callison, fleet-footed Tony Taylor, and Richard Anthony Allen, a rookie from the coal fields of western Pennsylvania, whose soaring home runs lifted the Phillies to 10 wins in their first 12 games.
42-ounce bat. I don't know of anybody else that used a bat that heavy and could swing it as effectively as he did.
Dick Allen had an amazing 1964 season. He was Rookie of the Year.
He had this heavy bat. He hit these tremendous home runs. This was our Willie Mays. This was our Hank Aaron, man. Look at this guy.
That's a favorite team of mine. Even though the other clubs had more talent, we could play ball a little better.
We played probably over our heads the whole time. We beat the Dodgers, we beat the Giants, we beat all the good teams. We played them head to head, we played them all tough. The pitching was great.
On the pitching mound, Chris Short and Art Mahaffey anchored the starting rotation around the right-handed strikeout king, Jim Bunning.
Bunning was the hardest working pitcher I had seen since Robin Roberts and until Roy Halladay.
It's Father's Day in Shea Stadium, and history is in the making.
On Sunday, June 21st, Bunning retired 27 New York Mets in a row.
Jim Bunning has pitched a perfect game.
The first perfect game by a National League pitcher since 1880.
That was an omen that was telling me we were going to the World Series.
The Phillies continued their assault throughout the summer, holding fast to first place and lifting the hopes of their city.
Philadelphia was a city that did not feel very good about itself. And when the Phillies played well in 1964, it carried people through a lot of tough times during that summer.
World Series tickets had been printed. The parade route was planned, whether they were willing to admit it or not. The city was excited.
In late September, with just 12 games left to play, the team held a wide lead over the rest of the National League and seemed to be a lock to win the pennant. On Monday, September 21st, in the 6th inning of a scoreless tie game, Reds hitter Chico Ruiz laced a single to right field. The next batter followed with a hit, and Ruiz ran to third base. When Frank Robinson, the Reds' best hitter, stepped to the plate, Ruiz broke for home.
Chico Ruiz steals home with Frank Robinson at bat. Dumb baseball play. But as it turns out, the catalyst.
Ruiz made the difference, and the Phillies lost 1-0. But in the days to come, the Phillies lost again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again. 7 losses in a row brought the team to the brink of disaster, and they were not done yet.
When the ball game was over, I was sitting right there in my locker figuring, well, tomorrow's the day.
Gene Mauch, who had managed the team so well throughout the season, panics himself, starts to pitch Jim Bunning and Chris Short on 2 days' rest. And the stress that Mauch is feeling is starting to infect everybody on the team, and every game becomes bigger and bigger and bigger as the Cardinals keep winning and winning and winning while the Phillies are losing.
Now in second place, with 5 games left, the Phillies traveled to St. Louis, where the hard-charging Cardinals were waiting. The Cardinals swept the series, extending the Phillies' streak to 10 losses in a row. St. Louis would win the National League Championship that Philadelphians had been sure belonged to them.
What happened in '64 was record-breaking. I mean, nobody had ever blown a 6.5 game lead with 12 to play.
It was a fantastic year, and then it just ended. It was like a total shock.
Look at me still finding words. We lost it. It was fair and square.
The Phillies toiled in mediocrity for the rest of the 1960s, and Philadelphia, battered by job losses and social unrest, would wait more than a decade to see the return of winning baseball.
Let's face it, sports affects how we are as people. And so when our team lets us down in an epic collapse, it turned an entire generation bitter, sour, dour, and it affected the mood of an entire city. We become fatalistic. We spell fatalism with a PH because of the 1964 Phillies.